What is up? And welcome to the latest edition of What Did I Miss? We promised him, and he said he would, and he didn't lie. CJ Toledano is back, and it's the week of the All-Star weekend. It's kind of crazy. It's like Super Bowl, Valentine. Everything rolls into everything else. But before we can even get to the All-Star weekend festivities, dude, we have to talk about the trades that happened that we didn't even get to talk about because of the Super Bowl. Okay, your initial reaction to this Ben Simmons saga finally having what hopefully will be a conclusion at this point.
My reaction is I would love to see him play basketball because I'm not sure if he still plays basketball. The thing is, like, both teams, star-studded superstars, right? But I don't know, like, Ben Simmons, I've taken 6 months off in basketball and I don't know how to shoot it. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Ben Simmons, but in James Harden, things haven't been the same since Houston. So they literally could have traded two just not the same pieces.
Right.
And they could just end up with the same record. So I hope the best for both of them. I think it'd be great for the league, but who knows what's going to happen.
Okay, good. Because that is kind of how I felt myself feel, other than just the drama of it all. And obviously as consumers of this, it is, it's fun to have this kind of stuff, this dysfunction, as long as it's not on the team you root for. If it's the team you root for, it's a whole different kind of headache, but it's not. And so we're watching it from afar, just thinking, oh, this is insane and what is happening. But yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like you had two movies filming with two divas that were just really rubbing everybody wrong, and you just switched. And it's still the same personality traits, but just in a different city. And I don't know if I'm expecting a ton, but I also feel like there's a lot at stake because some really big moves and really big statements by making these moves were made. One of these teams has to come out on top of the other, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily think either one of these teams wins the conference and goes on to the finals at all. But it's sort of now just a competition between the two. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have, the thing is, on the Nets, we also have Kyrie. Is he even going to play? But I think Harden and Embiid are two of the biggest personalities in the league. So on paper, yes, they're two of the greatest basketball players, but do their egos just clash?
Yeah.
And because they're both healthy, but that's not the issue with either of them.
It never seems to be.
How will they share the ball when it comes down to who's taking the last shot? You're telling me Embiid, who is potentially the MVP this year, the last shot, he could take a shot from literally anywhere on the court, which is incredible for a center these days.
Right.
He's going to take the shot. He's going to look Harden in the eye, who is Daryl Morey's boy.
Yeah.
And say, hey, man, this is my team. That's the sense I'm like imagining in the locker room or on the court. Hey, James Harden, this is my team. That's what caused the problems in Brooklyn. So I don't see how that doesn't come back up in Philly.
So this feels very much like, we all have those friends, guys and or girls, who date repeatedly these losers, and they always think, well, this is going to be different. He's going to be different this time. Maybe I'll change him. That's always brilliant. Like, this feels like, and I like Daryl Morey, but bro, what is up with this love affair for James Harden? He has literally quit numerous times on teams, in specific games, in important moments. What is it about Daryl Morey and James Harden that he thinks, I'm going to get the best version of him and get some longevity out of him? Because that is key at this point.
I just think they think that they're both misunderstood and they deserve each other. It is like what you said. It's like in high school when everyone, sort of dates each other, and then finally, like, they were the first couple to date, and then they all start dating each other's friends. That all doesn't work out, and they come together and they go, we're both dysfunctional. We deserve each other. And I you know what?
Better.
And looking at it, that may be the best case scenario.
God. Okay. So yesterday they had the press conferences. Obviously not a lot was said. I will say this. Ben Simmons was refreshingly a bit more candid, or at least as candid as I probably expected he would be. But the Harden side of things, he took a definite shot when he mentioned the fact that it was nice to be with a team where every guy wanted to do whatever it took to win. That was the gist of it. That's not it. It can't be at Durant. And nobody's doubting Durant's compassion and competitive values. Is that just strictly a Kyrie bomb that he's throwing back?
I think it's a Kyrie bomb. I don't know what happened first, but I know a lot of the Brooklyn role players and the bench made a shot at him like, hey, there's no more drama here. So, yeah, I think these guys, the NBA has become WWE. Everyone's cutting promos in local and national press conferences, and I see that's what Harden's doing. Although, it isn't a good look when then you go and lose by like 30 to the Celtics.
Oh, my God. And you wear an outfit that, my goodness, sir, we need to have a talk. What are you doing? That vest was not finished. It looked like something on the runway show where you're trying to figure out what kind of a project they're putting together. No, that wasn't it. Yeah, he's taking shots. Obviously, we're all waiting for March 10th, the big matchup. Hopefully, Ben Simmons will be in uniform and on the court. Daryl Morey's put his legacy on the line with this one. I mean, you have potentially one of the best players in a while, and especially right now. And you went out and made a big stink to get this guy. It's a now or never situation. Does his legacy take a shot if not only Philly doesn't advance as far as they think they're supposed to, but Brooklyn even beats them in the process?
I want to say yes, and his legacy would take a shot, but come on. This is a rich white dude who's run basketball teams. There's so many slots in sports and basketball. He has 19 more chances. And I'm sure James Harden will be involved in 12 more of them.
At least James Harden knows for as long as he wants to play basketball and his Daryl Morey's around, the dude's set for life. I'll never get it. To me, James, as a Spurs fan, we watched him personally quit, and I'll never forget watching that happen. It was just the most bizarre scenario I've ever seen. So on the Ben Simmons side of things, he's obviously going to deal with a lot of people with the mental health stuff and where are you? And I think he answered a bit of it. Do you expect to see him sooner rather than later?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he sat out, but he was healthy, like I said. And I think, the only thing left to do is play. I think for his mental state and physical state is just to play. And I think that's where he's going to gain a lot of his confidence. And the thing is, I've made jokes about him, but like, I'm rooting for him. You're rooting for this guy who, from high school, all the eyes were on him, and he was a phenom, and he came to the NBA, and he had a great rookie season, aka his second season.
Right.
But he is a good basketball player, and I want the Nets to be good. Like, the East is super competitive, and we kept saying Lakers-Nets finals. Now it's not going to be the Lakers, but... Yeah.
We did not keep saying that. Hold on.
I did, as a person who lives in Los Angeles and enjoys the greatness of LeBron James. But I do want to see the Nets get far. And I do. Yeah. KD, again, is one of the best players. And you don't want to see these guys waste their prime because of issues that aren't having to do with their players not being healthy. Like, you want to see them compete at the highest level. So I'm rooting for Ben to be that third piece. I'm rooting for Kyrie to get vaccinated, so the whole roster is active and they're competitive against the Bucks, the Heat, the Bulls, the Cavs. Like, that's a stacked East.
It's so crazy.
Love to see everyone healthy and playing.
If you would have told me a few years ago, like, the East was going to be just this beast mode kind of like crazy comp, Cavs alone, just saying that. And then you have, you know what? I kind of do want to touch on that, but the vaccination, there's no way he's going to get vaccinated, right? Like, I'm a stubborn person.
Yeah.
He made it an art form. Like, even if he kind of thought he wanted to at this point, I don't think he would. He's doubled and tripled down.
He could fully well be vaccinated, but he's just made such a stance. I wish. Kyrie is one of my favorite players, and I fully believe in science and in vaccines.
Right.
But I also believe in watching just the most artful, poetic basketball player I've ever seen in my whole life. So I just hope it gets worked out. And what a weird situation it'll be where you can only play road games.
Right.
So that means it's like tank the rest of the regular season, be a road team for the rest of the run so Kyrie could play. But what happens if they do make the finals?
Exactly.
It's road games? It's weird.
You can't do that. It's got to be so weird to be a person who roots for Kyrie, like a Kyrie fan. This is just a situation we've never had before. And so I don't know how you sort of mentally deal with it on a day-to-day basis, because you want to, if it's your favorite player, like, I want to see him out there all the time. Yeah. And now you sort of had to resign yourself to this weird existence where, no, they're at home, so we're not going to see him tonight. Well, they're back on the road in like a week. So that's just, I don't know we'll ever see it again, to be honest with you, but it's okay. The East is, Brooklyn and Philly get a lot of love, and they're the splashy, sexy teams, but can we just talk about DeMar DeRozan for 1 second. He was obviously a Spur. He was obviously up in Toronto for a long time. He was never a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but there's something in that Chicago water that is just, what is going on with DeMar? He's on a list where the only other person on the list 16 times is Michael Jordan, as far as Bulls franchise records. And like, where did this come from? Why is this happening this year?
Well, I really think it's situation. I think a lot of these in the offseason, this past offseason, everyone was considering DeMar DeRozan. Oh, he's a role player. He can get a few points, mid-range. No one was thinking about him as a superstar, but the Bulls. When the Bulls were that down, they were like, yeah, we'll take a chance at DeRozan, a vet who can still play a little bit. Like, if he wants to flourish here, this is the place. And he took that upon himself to just shoot, just to take over games. And look what is happening. It only took a couple weeks, I feel like, for him to just have a few good games and the rest of that locker room to go,
yeah,
holy shit, this is DeMar DeRozan of the Raptors. Like,
yeah.
Everyone was always saying, oh, he was like a part of a duo with Kyle Lowry and it hasn't been the same ever since. No, DeMar DeRozan is a great player. And he is one of the best players in the league right now, dropping 30, 35, 40 every night. And I think that was the Bulls were one of the few teams that were willing to take that chance and to encourage him to do it. And so that's what we're seeing right now.
Which is crazy. I mean, their front office gets a lot of props because it wasn't just him. I mean, they put together a bunch of pieces in the offseason that I don't think most talking heads really respected enough. And it was kind of bizarre to sort of sit back and listen to him talk about it. He's also been doing it with a lot of injuries on the bench. He's doing it, Levine's kind of in and out the last several games. As far as the East moving forward, and look, I'm not forgetting about the Bucks, obviously defending champions for a reason, but where do you put the Bulls as far as realistically having a shot to take this thing all the way?
I don't think they're going to take it all the way. I think they're close. I think they're going to get back a bunch of guys closer to the playoffs. And for a young team like that is especially pretty good, and that's a new thing for them, we're going to see where that's a disadvantage in the playoffs when it comes to being down, 2-1, going back on the road or stuff like that. I don't think they can take it all the way. I just, like we said, the East is so stacked that there's a few odds against them. I think the Bucks and Heat, and I think the Bulls are probably above the Cavs as of right now, just with some veteran leadership. I don't think Rondo is a better veteran than DeRozan, obviously, but maybe Kevin Love. But yeah, I just don't think it's there yet. I don't think they're a piece away. I think they're just like a healthy season away from contending for an NBA title.
We talk about all these East teams, and yet why do I see the Knicks on national television every 20 minutes? Honestly, the Knicks and the Lakers every 20 minutes. I'm like, neither one of these teams is going to do anything. But how much are the Lakers, for several reasons at this point, but kicking themselves in the ass because the DeMar DeRozan, like he was ready to go to Los Angeles, bags packed, mentally there already, looking at real estate, I'm sure. And they went Russell Westbrook. Like that has got to be, when it's all said and done, one of the bigger mess ups in a while.
It's a huge mess up, but I cannot lie. Like a lot of Lakers fans, we were happy about it. We were arrogant about it. This is Russell Westbrook, former MVP. I was fine. Like I had complained about Kuzma and KCP and Montrez. And because this is the thing, we let memes and the common joke take over our lives and interrupt our basketball IQ. And we're like, yeah, we don't need several shooters on the floor. We need one shooter who can't even make his layups right now, which I can't with the Russ slander. It's tough. He's good, right? But he's not making layups. He's throwing the ball to who knows
somebody else.
Just literally into the hands of the defender. Sometimes I'm like, are you trying to get an assist for the other team? Like it looks so direct sometimes, but we are kicking ourselves. It would have been great to have DeMar DeRozan. We probably could have kept Caruso if that was the case. And maybe even Kuzma or KCP. The team is a mess. I still watch every night, and my wife is like, will you stop?
Insane.
Like, you need to go to therapy. What are you doing watching the Lakers every night?
What are you doing watching the Lakers every night? All jokes aside, that can't possibly be satisfying or enjoyable, right?
It is not. You know what? The thing is, people do call me a front runner. I did follow LeBron to this team. They do play 20 minutes from my home, so I said, this is my team till the end of time, and I'm going to endure the punishment. because of all the shit I've talked. So I'm
You know
fully
what?
taking that on.
It's honest. You're an honest Lakers fan. And for that, I respect you. But yeah, DeMar DeRozan playing for, maybe just straight up revenge at this point. And we all know that that's the greatest motivator. Greater than anything else in the world. Greater than love, even. That's the Eastern Conference. That is the NBA. Those are the players that get paid lots of money to play the great game of basketball. But we're taking a quick break because we come back. Celebrity game this weekend. And they put together a roster that is, whoo! Star-studded is not the words I would use. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's All-Star, NBA All-Star Weekend coming up in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio this weekend. Of course, one big part of that it has been enjoyable over the years, was always the celebrity game. Now, the level of celebrity fluctuates, obviously. It used to be, I think, a much bigger deal amongst the stars of the world. I'm not sure why it lost some of its luster, but we are now here. And CJ and I are looking at the roster for both teams. The coaches are Dominique Wilkins and Bill Walton, okay?
Yeah, legends.
Those are stars. I would argue bigger than probably almost everybody on their teams. So, I don't even know where to start. Do you have just an initial first reaction to this celebrity roster?
My first player that I was really surprised by was Alex Toussaint. Now, I don't know if you're a Peloton user like myself.
Yep.
One, I didn't even know he was the most famous dude on the app.
He is? Or you saying?
Well, I'm assuming he's in the celebrity game.
I do like Cody, but okay, yeah.
Cody, shout out Hannah Corbin. That was,
Shout out Robin, the OG.
Girl.
Yeah,
exactly. Emma Lovewell works for the Nets.
That's a great point.
That she already had the basketball connection, but Alex Toussaint, and he's a dude, he's yelled at me in workouts and made me feel like nothing. So I'm excited to see him get dunked on.
Okay, you think he's just not even going to have a shot? He's just going to get dunked on.
He looks a little short.
Okay, but who's dunking on him is my question.
That's true. Okay, we talked about this, Matt James. So I was like, why is Matt James in this game?
Wait, tell everybody who Matt James is, because I promise you, my dad's listening to this going, I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, Matt James is the most generic name in the world, but Matt James was The Bachelor. Again, a season I did not watch, and I had to ask my wife about, what's the deal with Matt James? She didn't watch it either, but he's 6'5", and he's a former football player. And then I looked up a video that he skateboards too. This dude needs to calm down with the hobbies.
Pick one and stick with it.
Yeah, just pick one, dude. Your hobby is finding a wife.
Oh, wow. No, it's apparently not. First of all, I think we all know people don't go on those shows to find anything other than fame. And here we are. He's in the All-Star game for the NBA. 6'5", though, might put him in a good spot, because that is one thing I think we've all learned over the years about celebrity world. That they tend to lean towards the shorter side of things. Mm-hmm. But as I'm looking at some of these, and some of these heights are guesses, because these are not people whose heights are probably readily available. But, you got Machine Gun Kelly, who stands at about a 6'4", 87 pounds. So I feel like that's going to be something that we're going to see Megan Fox, which is probably why they invited him to the All-Star game.
That's true. Well, how far has your star fallen when your best friend Skeet Davidson is the #1 headline in America or in the world, and then you're playing in a basketball game sponsored by potato chips?
Yes.
Yes. It's tough for Machine Gun Kelly, but he is probably one of the biggest stars on this roster.
So this is, life for me these days is sort of going through pop culture moments and sort of assessing where I am on the age range, and oh my God, I've still got it, or nope, I'm old. And so this is sort of been one of those mixes, because usually I pride myself on my absolute knowledge of dumb stuff, and this I think falls under that category. Too. But I legitimately had to look up quite a few names on this list, and then to find out there's a gentleman here that is a Puerto Rican rapper. Of course, my music is obviously 80s rock. That's what I've bragged about my whole life. But I thought, who's this guy? And he's got 27 million followers. Are we just at the point now where the NBA and everybody like that just looks at your social media following, and that's how these decisions are being made, not whether or not we know you?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we're all attached to our follower account, which is sad because I'm not doing well in that case. But the world, this just reminds me how big the world is. Ranveer Singh, I had no idea who it is. And 30 million, 60 million. who is following these people? And it has to be people in other countries. I think we're just dumb Americans who just still,
no, we're definitely dumb Americans.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. But yeah, you're right though. Like when it starts to get into that global realm, it's a whole different animal, and so I stand corrected. But I think if I'm Tiffany Haddish, I would argue Tiffany Haddish is still. I think she's a celebrity. She makes big movies like that. Am I pulling out of this thing after I see the rest of the roster? Do I call my PR person and say, yeah, I'm sick. I'm not going to do this because I don't know who any of these people are. I feel like the bigger celebrities should maybe think about that.
I think they should reconsider. They should look at the roster and go, okay. But Tiffany Haddish literally does everything. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she's also playing in the actual All-Star game. Like truly, I turn on my TV and Tiffany Haddish is in 18 movies, All-Star game. She's going to be in the commercials during the break.
Yes.
But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Tiffany Haddish fan, but I don't know if we need her in the celebrity game.
I mean, I don't. Okay, so there's a good range of, you've got some actresses, you've got some singers, you've got a couple WNBA, a couple of, former Olympians. There is also, for me, my heart warms at this one, a guy who I guess won a contest, the All-In Challenge winner, Noah Carlock, who we have no idea how tall he is. He could be a ringer, like for all we know, but he's just a guy who won a contest. I guess, is he going to be the fan favorite? Because we do love a good redemption sort of Rudy story.
We're going to see Carlock's sanity unfold in front of our eyes. This guy, I haven't looked him up, but I have full confidence in the stranger who filled out a sweepstakes form to be around all these celebrities. And I expect him to just go off for 40 against Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. That's
one of the largest Avenger-looking dudes I've ever seen in my life. But for real, I mean, shout out to Noah, who gets to meet all these celebrities and maybe touch the basketball.
That's a hell of a life experience. If nothing else, you're not going to forget it for the rest of your life. We have some interesting nuggets. Like our crack research team put together some good stuff. For example, the mayor of Cleveland, Mayor Justin Bibb, he's claustrophobic. That's just a little nugget I think everybody needs to take. That's a scouting report, because you do need to know things like that before you head into a basketball game of this sort of importance.
Yeah, this is a high contact game. He might get scared. He might get scared playing defense. Well, can I add something about Justin Bibb? He's 34 years old and he's the mayor of Cleveland. What the hell am I doing?
Oh, we failed. No, I've you know what? I just ate like hot dog buns for breakfast. I'm pretty much sure I've given up.
Michelle,
I've given up.
Don't beat yourself up. That's just a different shape of bread.
But they were legitimately hot dog. I mean, what is that? I miss the days of Justin Bieber. Can I say that? I didn't think I'd say that. If I lived to be 4,000, I wouldn't have ever thought I'd say the sentence, I miss the days of Justin Bieber. But I miss the days of Justin Bieber because when he played in this thing, it was peak Justin Bieber time.
Yeah.
And my goodness, it was insanity. And I'm not seeing that on this roster. Unless I'm missing someone on here, I'm not seeing that kind of caliber celebrity.
No, it brings a tear to my eye that we won't see little Justin Bieber in an oversized basketball. Like, we treated him like a little mascot was like, here's the biggest uniform, run around, maybe try to shoot a layup and get blocked by Arnie Duncan. That was right. Another thing too, is like, we think like the best athletes are going to be the stars of this game, but Arnie Duncan.
Yeah. Or the kid from the dude from Arcade Fire, Win whatever, was always always in it. Always. Where's he? Where's Win? He's did he
was
piss
the
someone
LeBron
else?
of the All-Star game, or the Celebrity
really
All-Star game.
I thought he was going to play into his 60s, and I don't see him on this roster unless it's a surprise. I don't get it. Here's what we're going to do. We have some matchups because, I mean, how do you not dissect this game for hours? Yeah. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, 5 matchups, 5 must-see matchups. I feel comfortable saying that. We'll be back. Welcome back. We obviously can't wrap up this Celebrity All-Star Weekend edition without really looking at some of the matchups to look forward to in this game. And when I think we should start out with the women we've talked about a little bit. I consider a real celebrity, Tiffany Haddish. Yep. She'll be guarding Jimmy Allen. CJ, what do you think about that?
I don't know who Jimmy Allen is. In parentheses next to his name, I've seen singer-songwriter. So I'm going to go with the familiarity here. I'm going to go with Tiffany Haddish.
Okay,
There's
fair.
There's no way she's going to be on television and lose to Jimmy Allen.
Ooh. I don't know. Losing is always funnier, and she's a funny person.
That's
so
true.
I will also say this: next to Jimmy Allen, and I guess follower count, he's got 353,000 followers. We should probably mention that since it's your self-worth at this point. Yeah. But he eats a bowl of cereal and 2 glazed donuts every night in bed, and for that and that alone, he's my MVP, to be quite frank. Not only is he going to bust up on Tiffany Haddish, she's got no chance. He's going to be the star of the game. That man has my heart.
With that diet,
like that. 2 glazed donuts every day.
Or he has a heart attack mid-court.
Or that. Yeah, or that. Yeah. But he does it, and he goes out a legend. And either way, I love it. Quavo, okay? Quavo is now the longest tenured celebrity all-star game player. He versus the mayor of Cleveland. Who you got?
I've never seen any, what is his name? Justin Bibb, Chris Brickley Lifetime Gym videos where he's working out with a real NBA trainer. So I'm going to go with Quavo here. Quavo practices basketball more than most NBA players. So
nice.
I'm going to go with Quavo. He's a veteran of this game. I think Justin Bibb is going to go in. He's going to wave. He's going to be the mayor. You know?
He's the mayor.
He's going to wave
but
to
a
everyone.
Cool mayor.
A very cool mayor. 34-year-old baby mayor.
Lord.
And I think Quavo's got this matchup, though.
I believe the mayor, and I could be wrong by a little bit, but he might have the lowest social media following on this entire
Good.
bad boy.
I think that's a great sign when
I
someone
do too.
who's running your city has
especially
a
at that
low
age.
count. Yeah,
because 34 is fairly young. There might be some. I know. I think he's the youngest or the lowest. All right, we both have Quavo on that. So Alex Peloton versus Jack Harlow. Who I had heard of, which is a point for me.
I'm gonna go with Jack Harlow on this.
Do you know something we don't know? What do you know about Jack?
The thing I know is that Jack Harlow isn't going away, and I thought he was gonna go away. He had that first single that was pretty good, but the dude just stays in the news, stays on my timeline. So I just think we're still peak Jack Harlow right now.
Okay.
And I think he was like playing in the crew league or maybe was a part of the crew league a little bit. So like this is the celebrity all-star game. He's already playing basketball and other stuff. So I'm going to go with Jack Harlow. Alex Toussaint, obviously endurance. Like if it was an endurance thing and he played 48 minutes, maybe Alex. But
that's a great point.
Go with Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow's nugget that we should know is that he wore glasses growing up, got tired of it, stopped. He's got one bad eye, so he looks out the other one. That could affect maybe the way you scout him, but I'm going to go Alex on this one. I think he's going to surprise us. I think sometimes we think, oh, you're big and strong and muscular and da-da-da, but that doesn't translate necessarily. And I think in this particular case, it is going to translate. I got Alex on that one. I think you're completely wrong, CJ. Okay, Myles Garrett. How do we have Quavo in 2 of these? Or is that just a post mismatch? That seems like an obvious, right? Myles Garrett's going to crush him.
Unless like he doesn't play by the rules and just like rips down the hoop and then like game over.
I'm here for that.
I don't know if you've seen Myles Garrett his mixtape. He moves like someone, like there's a tiny person inside of him controlling him, like a Men in Black character, where he is just like he's so smooth for being so huge,
so smooth. Like
I'm very excited to actually watch him in this game.
I do. I think the size stuff alone is 6'4", whatever, 634,000 followers. That's going to be my new thing. I'm just going to say that. Almost went to Ohio State because of his love for dinosaurs, and he writes poetry. These are things one needs to take into consideration. And then the big music showdown, if you can call it that, Machine Gun Kelly versus Kane Brown. Who you got?
Do not know who Kane Brown is. Wait, can
Country.
Country. What's Kane Brown's fact? That might help me decide.
Okay. That's a great point. He stands at about 6'1", 3 million followers. Auditioned for American Idol, made it to X Factor, declined. Can't stand to be barefoot, and almost joined the Army.
Okay. I'm going to go Machine Gun Kelly on this.
Wait, none of that was enough to sway you over?
No,
what happened?
That can't be barefoot? Is that one of the facts?
Well, doesn't prefer. I mean, he doesn't like it. But can I tell you, Machine Gun Kelly's fact is can juggle objects that are on fire.
See, there we go.
Clutch.
That plus I just saw him in Jackass Forever, so he did a great job. He got hit by a giant hand, which again I think is a great fact. With all these other facts, I feel like getting hit by a giant hand in Jackass Forever should be on there. But I'm gonna go Machine Gun Kelly on this.
Okay, I think I'm gonna do Kane Brown for no reason at all. I will say his name is good. It's a bit of a superhero human name, and I'm I'm not hating it. All I can say is I may tune in for this. There's a 98% chance I don't, but I will look to Twitter for all my catch-ups.
I don't think I'm not gonna. What? It's probably at like 3 p.m. on Thursday.
I mean, what?
I'll
Dude,
catch the clip outs.
I expect to have. We're gonna do a complete rundown of everything from the All-Star break. I need just some more drama. I think the rest of the season, when we get back for the quote-unquote second half, even though we're way past that, it's gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna make you come on this damn podcast 75 more times. So
please keep having me on for hard-hitting topics such as
hard-hitting topics. Now I know why they tell me to say the following words. For the followers, rate, review, and subscribe. That's how you get 27 million followers. Yep. Anyways, we're going to always take your voicemails and texts. 631-397-0403. CJ Toledano, Michelle Beadle, Celebrity All-Star Game. It's going to be a doozy. We'll see y'all Friday.